The sky carries secrets that only reveal themselves in rare moments. A total lunar eclipse is one of them. It is not only an astronomical event, but a mirror that draws out the hidden forces within your spirit. Especially when the moon moves through Pisces, the energies swell like tides beneath the surface. They call forth emotions you thought you had mastered, and memories you believed were gone. This is why such nights are spoken of with reverence across cultures, because they are not ordinary nights, they are thresholds. Many chase the beauty of the eclipse with their eyes fixed on the sky. But the true preparation is not out there, it is within. Before the shadow falls upon the moon, you must learn the art of stillness. For when the heavens grow restless, your mind will try to follow. And if you do not anchor yourself, you will be swept away by forces greater than you. Shaolin wisdom teaches that silence is not weakness, it is the ground where clarity is born. Stillness is the blade that cuts through confusion. In this teaching, I will guide you through 9 essential practices to prepare your inner world before the eclipse of September 7th. These are not common rituals spoken lightly in passing. They are drawn from the discipline of Shaolin, the deep waters of mindfulness, and the hidden traditions surrounding the moon. Each one is a step that protects your spirit, clears your mind, and opens your path to transformation. Stay with me until the end, because the final lesson is the key that binds all the others together. It is the difference between being unsettled by the eclipse and being empowered by it. Welcome, my friends, to Shaolin Soulfire. If these teachings speak to you, subscribe and walk this path with us. There are doors inside the mind that remain closed until light and shadow collide. An eclipse is such a moment. It does not simply darken the sky. It lifts the veil over the hidden chambers of your being. Old fears, forgotten wounds, unspoken desires rise quietly from beneath the surface. They do not come to punish you. They come so that you may finally see them. When we live only on the surface, our reactions rule us. Someone speaks a word, and anger flares, a memory stirs, and sadness grips the heart. These triggers are the strings by which the unconscious pulls your actions. Most people run from them or blame others for tugging on them, but the path of mastery begins differently. It begins with turning the gaze inward. I say often, where your attention goes, your energy flows. If your attention is scattered in the outer world, you become a servant of circumstance. If you bring it home to the place where thoughts and emotions rise, you become the master of your own house. In Shaolin training, we are taught to observe not only the opponent before us, but also the opponent within, the restless mind. When a thought arises, watch it. When an emotion burns, breathe with it. When judgment appears, let it be seen. Do not push away and do not cling. In this way, the hidden patterns lose their power. The eclipse is a mirror. It shows you what you have carried unseen. If you dare to look inward during this time, you will find the places where attention has been leaking away, draining your strength. And if you gather it back, if you bring it home, you will touch the root of true freedom. There is a story of a monk who held a cup so tightly that the water inside spilled with every step he took. His master simply said, "Loosen your hand and the cup will steady itself." In life, we often make the same mistake. The more we fear losing control, the more we tighten our grip. Yet the tighter we hold, the more balance slips away. The energy of Pisces during an eclipse whispers a different lesson. It teaches surrender. Not the surrender of giving up, but the surrender of trust. Trust that life carries you even when the path ahead is hidden. Trust that not everything must be forced into order by your will. In this surrender, there is a strength that control can never give you. Shaolin discipline reminds us that moods are shifting clouds. If you act from them, you will always be unsettled. Purpose is the mountain. To act from purpose, you must learn the art of release. Release the need to control every thought, every feeling, every outcome. This is not weakness. It is choosing what truly matters and letting the rest fall away. Consider the fighter who wastes his energy throwing blows at shadows. His spirit weakens. The disciplined one does not waste his strike. He knows when to step back, when to let the opponent's force pass by, and when to deliver the single movement that ends the battle. Release, then act. This is mastery. The eclipse amplifies the tides within you. If you cling to every wave, you will drown. If you let the current carry you while staying anchored in your purpose, you will cross the waters unharmed. True power comes not from holding tighter, but from knowing when to let go. Across the ancient lands of India, when the shadow of the moon touches the earth, people turn inward. In Hindu tradition, a lunar eclipse is not only an astronomical event, but a sacred time for cleansing and remembrance. During Pitru Paksha, families honor their ancestors with prayer, fasting, or mantra. Food is offered, rituals are performed, not only to nourish those who came before, but to purify the living who carry their blood. It is believed that in these moments, the veil between the seen and unseen becomes thin, and the voices of the past can be heard more clearly. But ritual does not always require a temple, fire, or priest. The essence of ritual is intention. When approached with sincerity, even a few breaths can carry the same weight as hours of chanting. To fast is not only to withhold food, it is to withhold distraction, indulgence, the endless reach for more. To chant a mantra is not only to repeat sound, it is to shape the mind into silence and focus. For one who walks the path of mastery, the question is not, what ritual must I perform? The question is, how deeply can I meet the ritual within? In this sense, the eclipse becomes a mirror of your own discipline. You may sit quietly, spine straight, and allow the breath to rise and fall like the tides of the ocean. You may choose a single phrase of power, whispered or silent, to anchor the mind as the world shifts in shadow. These small acts are not small in essence, they are sacred. To pause, to breathe, to honor those who came before you, and to honor the life that flows through you now. This is ritual in its purest form. Simple, sacred, intentional. On the night of an eclipse, emotions do not whisper, they roar. Restlessness, longing, fear, even sudden joy can surge like waves in a storm. The danger is not in the waves themselves, but in believing you must ride each one wherever it takes you. This is how people lose their footing, swept into reactions that leave them drained and unsettled. Ancient practice offers another way. Emotions are not enemies, nor are they truths carved in stone. They are passing weather. A monk watching the sky does not mistake a cloud for the whole heavens. In the same way, you must learn to see a feeling without becoming the feeling. Anger may rise, but you are not anger. Sadness may press heavy on the heart, but you are not sadness. Even joy, when clung to, can become a chain. Mindfulness is the art of sitting at the riverbank, watching the waters flow by without needing to jump in. In Shaolin discipline, this is considered the heart of meditation, to be present, unshaken, while the mind performs its endless dance. The discipline is not in suppressing emotion, but in refusing to be consumed by it. Consider the warrior who walks into battle. If fear grips his chest, he acknowledges it but does not bow to it. If anger flares, he feels its fire but does not let it blind his eyes. He sees, and by seeing clearly, he remains free. The eclipse is your battlefield of the inner world. The heightened emotions will test your steadiness. If you can sit in the storm and watch each surge rise and fade without attachment, then you will know a freedom deeper than calm. It is the freedom of one who cannot be moved from within. There are times when the hidden threads of life reveal themselves more clearly, and an eclipse is one of them. The shadow it casts is not only across the moon, but across the self, bringing forward patterns you may have ignored. Old fears return, the same stories repeat in different forms. Wounds thought to be healed rise again. These are not punishments, they are invitations. Invitations to look closer, to finally see what has been shaping your steps from the unseen places of the mind. In moments like these, writing becomes a powerful discipline. When you place words on a page, you give form to what has remained formless. A thought that circles endlessly in the head loses its power once it is written down. A fear, named clearly in ink, no longer hides in the shadows. The act of journaling is not simply recording life, it is confronting life. Shaolin discipline teaches that structure follows awareness. Without awareness, you repeat what has always been. With awareness, even the deepest habit begins to loosen. To see a pattern is the first strike that breaks it. Self-inquiry is the weapon sharpened through patience and honesty. Consider the builder who tries to construct a house on shifting ground. No matter how carefully he works, the structure will fail. But if he first studies the land, clears the stones, and sets the foundation, the house will stand firm. In the same way, your life cannot be rebuilt until you know what lies beneath it. So during the eclipse, sit with pen and paper. Let the words come without judgment. Fears, wounds, stories, allow them to surface. In that act, you begin the work of realignment. You create the space where new patterns can take root, strong and unshakable. Water has no shape of its own, yet it can take the form of any vessel. This is the gift and the challenge of Pisces energy. It flows without boundaries. During an eclipse, this fluidity can become overwhelming, drawing you into dreams, illusions, and endless desires. The danger lies in drifting too far from the ground, in losing yourself to fantasies that never touch reality. Ancient wisdom teaches that expansion without roots is imbalance. A tree may reach toward the sky, but only because its roots dig deep into the earth. Without that grounding, the first strong wind will bring it down. The same is true for the inner life. To grow, to explore, to reach beyond yourself is powerful, but only if you remain steady at the core. Shaolin discipline reminds us, clarity does not mean restriction, it means alignment. To know when to open and when to hold steady is a skill born of awareness. There are moments to let yourself flow, to explore, to dream. And there are moments to say, here is my limit. Beyond this, I will not wander. This is not fear, but wisdom. Consider the warrior on the training field. If he moves too freely without control, his energy scatters and his strike weakens. But if he roots his stance, he can unleash his full force in a single movement. Fluidity balanced with grounding becomes power. So as the eclipse pulls at your spirit, stay close to what steadies you. Simple acts, walking slowly, breathing deeply, keeping your commitments become anchors. Honor your real limits, and the expansiveness of Pisces becomes a gift rather than a weight. In this balance, you will find both freedom and strength, the ability to flow without ever losing yourself. When the world trembles with sudden change, it is not grand gestures that keep you steady. It is the small rituals you return to again and again. An eclipse is such a time. The energy grows restless, emotions sharpen, and the familiar ground beneath you can feel uncertain. To meet this chaos, you do not need complexity. You need simplicity, a routine that anchors you before the shadow passes across the sky. Breathing with intention, even for a few minutes, reminds you that the body is your first temple. Each inhale draws you into the present. Each exhale releases what is heavy. Journaling allows the restless mind to empty its weight onto paper. Thoughts that could spiral endlessly in silence lose their grip once they are seen clearly. Gentle movement, stretching, walking slowly, flowing through simple forms, reconnects you to the rhythm of the body, grounding you in what is real. Shaolin discipline teaches that ritualized habits are the soil from which mastery grows. A single act done once can be forgotten, but when repeated with sincerity, the act becomes part of your foundation. It is no longer just breathing, it is the practice of presence. No longer just writing, it is the practice of clarity. No longer just moving, it is the practice of harmony. Consider the craftsman who sharpens his blade daily. The blade may not always be used, but because it is tended with care, it is always ready. In the same way, your simple pre-eclipse routine is the sharpening of the inner blade. When the tides of energy rise, you are not caught unprepared. You are already grounded, already steady, already anchored in discipline, and in that steadiness, the chaos of the eclipse cannot shake you. There is a kind of strength that comes not from pushing harder, but from softening. An eclipse carries this reminder. Its shadow does not ask you to conquer or to force, it asks you to release, to unclench the fists that have held too tightly to the past, to let the burdens slip quietly from your shoulders. In this release, space is created, and in that space, something new can enter. Setting intention at such a time is powerful, but the intention must be gentle. It is not a demand shouted at the universe. It is a quiet offering, a whisper to the deeper self. This I am ready to let go. This I am ready to welcome. When spoken softly, the intention settles deeper than when forced. It roots itself in the soil of your being, where true change takes hold. Ancient wisdom speaks often of balance between firmness and softness. The bamboo bends in the wind but does not break. The river carves valleys not by striking with violence, but by flowing with patience. This is the way of soft expansion, growth that happens without strain, without the heaviness of control. Shaolin training follows the same rhythm. Muscles are built through tension, but mastery comes when tension is released. The body learns to expand only when it also learns to yield. The same principle applies to the heart and the mind. So as the eclipse approaches, sit quietly, let the shadows pass, and with them, let go of what no longer serves you. Speak your intention in the silence, not with force, but with sincerity. Then let it be carried by the unseen currents. This is how growth unfolds, not in striving, but in the quiet power of release. The night of the eclipse will pass quickly, but the lessons it brings can stay with you for a lifetime. Preparation is not about gazing at the shadow on the moon, but about meeting the shadow within yourself with clarity and courage. When you pause, when you honor your limits, when you release with intention, you step into harmony with forces far greater than you. Carry these practices into your daily life. Let stillness become your teacher, journaling your mirror, breath your anchor. These are not rituals for one night alone. They are foundations for every day that follows. In this way, the eclipse becomes more than an event in the sky. It becomes a turning point in your own path of mastery. Walk gently, stay aware, and let discipline guide you toward freedom. If this teaching has spoken to your spirit, I invite you to like this video and subscribe to our channel, Shaolin Soulfire. May your journey be steady and may your heart remain at peace.